back to What Are Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the T92 HMC. It's the Tier 10 American SPG located on the north spawn of Cliff. This one is under the command of sunshinebilly, and he's from the Australian server. Now this is a 24 centimeter howitzer mounted on a hull from a T26 E3. That's a Pershing, and they started building them in 1945, around about March, and later on during the year they actually built 5 of them at the same time as they were building M40 M43s. So you can see it was actually an upgraded version of an M40 M43, you might say, in some ways. But they only ever built 5 because they were going to use them for the downfall, Operation Downfall, Operation Olympic, whichever name you choose to pick, the operation to actually conquer mainland Japan. Okay, first target, Object 430, 1100 Alpha, 60mm of pen, rounds out. Well, RNG said no on that occasion. The shell went to the right and hit the rock face, but we still managed to get 178 hit points of splash off the Object 430. In the meantime, we've got a T54 and an IS-5 coming up to the donut. Oh, well, it looks like an enemy Emil 2 just got completely zapped by our T28. So, yeah, I think that was a Amarak. Just saw it out the corner of your eye. Unfortunately, the T54 has just wiped out our Progetto, so might be going for a shot on that T54. We're loaded, ready to go, but we've lost sight of the T54 for the moment. Now, as I said, they only made 5 of the T92, but they actually did make 2 T93 HMCs, and those are the same chassis with an 8-inch howitzer on it instead. They actually had to take the Pershing hull and make it slightly longer, put an extra rope wheel in to carry all that extra weight from the howitzer. Let's have a quick look to see if you can spot the enemy Arty. Nothing yet. Okay, we've got a Passante C45 up near the crossing. That's a difficult shot. It's got to lob it over that rock. Dialed in, rounds out. It was a good try, but unfortunately the shell missed the Passante altogether. Get the IS-5 down on the donut. He's hiding around the other corner at the moment. Going back to the corner. No sign of the enemy RT yet. Whoa, there he is! Saw the tracer. And yes, it does look like he's in that corner. Rounds out, long flight time, 4 seconds. Well, that will have woken him up, but when you do go counter battery, it sometimes encourages the enemy RT to do the same to you. So it is advisable to actually change position afterwards. Now, you may have noticed that I actually did try to do this video a while back, and the reason for that was that the main computer, the one that we filmed or recorded the 8000 video on, unfortunately it failed due to the heat. In fact, the main fan had failed, and that meant that the computer couldn't be used anymore. Oh, that was a direct hit on the Object 430. So I had to actually try and get additional PCs. I did get an additional one, but it just wasn't up to scratch. It just couldn't handle the load. And so instead, we've actually got another PC, which is actually slightly better than the one we had before. Better graphics card, better processor. So I'm expecting that this one will last at least 5 years, considering the amount of use I'm going to put it to. Okay, TNHT Viz 51. Yeah, he felt that one. 438, good hit. It's a tier 10 game. It's got tier 8 tanks in it, so he's going to do some pretty nasty damage to enemy tanks if they're tier 8. This is the most devastating of all the Arty in the game, you could say. It actually had the nickname of the King Kong because it was so big. Some even called it the nuke cannon, although actually it couldn't fire nukes. They actually had to have a much bigger howitzer to do that. The thing about this Arty is that you don't even need to get the shell to hit a target to still do a lot of damage. Rounds out. That's a direct hit again, 326 this time. He's tracked and he's probably very unhappy. It's got a very long stun, this Arty. Only 16 rounds of ammunition, but you can see the stun can last from anywhere between 14 seconds to 35 seconds. That's a very long time. And if your teammate's up to scratch, they can get a lot of stun assists for you in the meantime. Okay, down here we've got a T54 and the Object 430. Oh, and there's the IS-5 we saw earlier. Okay, he's lining up a shot on that guy. Fully dialed in. Rounds out. Yep. 401 from a direct hit. Didn't pen though. I think it might have hit the tracks or the side armor. Now it's got a decent range, this Arty, 1400 meters, which means that basically it can fire over the entire range of the map. The most powerful gun, capable of destroying heavies with a single shot. In fact, with the armor-piercing rounds, in fact, Wargaming played around with it. They have nerfed this Arty quite considerably. You can see here, it's capable with armor-piercing of doing 750 and penetrating 372 millimeters. Oh, that one was right in the face of the T54. Another 381, and he got stun assist when he was taken out. But they've considerably nerfed this Arty because it used to be capable of doing 2,250 hit points with an armor-piercing round. And I remember watching the Salty Jedi on this very map put a round from this very position into a enemy 113, and it went straight through the engine bay and wiped him out with one shot. He had full health and he went to 0 health in just one shot. And that was quite satisfying. Okay, there's a strip K, or was a strip K, behind that bush. It looks like he's spotting for his teammates. We can see there's an SU-130PM up in the sniper's nest at K5. But there might be somebody else up there because unfortunately we just lost a Kunstpanzer to a Leopard 1, and we can't see the Leopard 1 on the map. So he might be in the sniper's nest. So the Kunstpanzer was right up on top of the hill next to the lighthouse. And going back to the Arty again. Almost loaded. He's going to try the same spot just in case. That shouldn't have happened. Sorry about it if you heard that. Okay, we're loaded. Ah, the IS-7's coming to the site again, and he's actually sitting right behind the house, using it for cover. Okay, let's put a round right into his rear. Rounds out. Oh, well, it certainly devastated the house, and you can see the IS-7 has suddenly dropped in hit points. He's not a happy bunny at the moment. He's not stunned. He got rid of the stun fairly quickly. And there's that Striv K again. And the IS-7's been wiped out by R430. Okay, so Striv K. See if we can get a round in. Almost loaded, almost fully dialed in. Rounds out. Direct hit. 473. Okay, the Striv K's pulled back. He doesn't want to get hits again. He's certainly a one-shot. Almost loaded. Okay, he's gone up to the sniper's nest to see if he can spot anyone up there. Oh, there's a Borsig up there. Okay, they've got very thin armor. Round out. And that's his first kill. Only 319. He'd obviously taken a few hits beforehand. If he caught him whilst he still had a lot of hit points, he probably would have got a penetrating shot. But I think he managed to blast him to death. Now I still think there's more up there because there's more shells going in that direction. So I suspect somebody is still up there firing at our teammates. And we found an SU-130 PM. He's very low on hit points now. We only need to land a shell near him. Oh, there's something we can hit. The Leopard 1, he was up there. Rounds out. Oh, blew his turret off. 833 from a jack-in-the-box. And there goes the SU-130 PM. That means there's only 3 enemy tanks left. They've got a 122 TM somewhere near the cap area. That's where it was last seen. A T28, which is holding the Western Pass. And the enemy T92 HMC somewhere in this general area. He's got 2 rounds of ammunition left. Trying to work out where to put the shell. Rounds out. Okay, well, still no kill on the T92, but the enemy's just lost their T28. That means there's only 2 left, and the 122 is 100% health, but he won't be for long. Not given the fact he's facing 8 opponents. He'll soon resemble a colander with loads of holes in him. Going back to the corner. He's marking the spot for his teammates to let them know where he's headed. He's going to put the shell in there. There he is! And he's lost a lot of hit points. He's only got 10 left. Oh, and a direct hit takes him out of the game and wins the game. And that was the last shell of ammunition. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first class tanker for Sunshine Billy in the T92 HMC. And it was not only a first class, it was the first time he's had a first class because he's got the scrolls underneath to show that. He also managed to get a demolition expert because he blew that Leopard 1 to pieces with 1 shot. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 14. He got a Faden's medal. He took out the last enemy with the last round of ammunition in his magazine, and that was the T92 HMC. So it means that the 122 TM must have died just a split second before the T92 did, because they were both still alive when he fired his shot. And he also got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle, and a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate from that battle, 6,365, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at team score and see how he got on. Well, in this game, he actually got the highest damage, but unfortunately, he didn't get 20% of the enemy hit pool, and that's why he didn't get the high caliber. 4,738 hit points of damage for Sunshine Billy. 4,392 went to the Shrek, who's obviously very busy. And the third highest damage actually went to that Leopard 1. Yes, he was a very good sniper because he was sitting up in that nest and hitting lots of our tanks and getting damage, and that's why so many people were firing in that direction. When it came to kills, it was the Shrek who did the best. He got 5 kills in that game. 4 kills went to the Object 430U, and 3 kills went to SunshineBilly. And when it came to base XP, it's the Shrek again with 1,298 went to him. 935 went to the T92 HMC. 892 went to the Object 430U. And just 4 experience points behind him was SunshineBilly in his T92. He fired 16 rounds, all 16 rounds in the magazine. He got 10 direct hits on the enemy and 2 penetrations. Now, I'm pretty sure that the pens were that leopard, because obviously he hit that one pretty heavily. Yep, went straight through. In fact, actually, he didn't just hit him once. He actually hit him more than once. He got 1 penetration on him for about 800, but he must have splashed him when he hit the Borsig, who was sitting there at the same time. And they must have been alongside each other. So the Leopard 1 took the damage at the same time there. And he also penetrated the T92 HMC, and I think that was with the last shot. But he actually earned 144 hit points of damage overall from the T92. So I think he hit him a couple of times, but he probably took a shot from somebody else sometime during the game. He also got 14 splashes in the game, 4,738 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 3, and there's a Confederate. 256 hit points of damage assistance and 156 hit points of stun assist off 12 stuns. And I think that might be the reason why he only got a first class and not an ace tanker out of this game, because his teammates weren't hitting the enemy while they were stunned. In fact, a lot of the enemy were curing the stun before they could get hit, and that denied SunshineBilly the extra stun assist. He earned 63,072 credits from the game, but these shells are very expensive. Even if you only use the HE, it's still going to cost you a lot in credits. So he only actually ended up with 23,072 credits profit from the game. He did pick up 5 bonds because it was a tier 10 game, and he got 1,332 XP times 2 for the first victory. Took away 2,664 experience points altogether. So a very good game by SunshineBilly. Could have been an ace tanker if his teammates had actually bothered to hit the tanks that he was stunning, but unfortunately it wasn't. But he did pick up 3 good medals. Now, this is the replay that we should have recorded last week, but of course we had to get the new computer. But I'm not going to leave you with just one replay of the T92, because we've actually got 2 replays for the T92 in this video, because this one took place, or the next one, took place after this battle. So let's have a look at it right away. The second replay is on Malinovka, East Spawn, and it's under the command of BassmanFromHell. Oh, we've got no engine noises. Oh dear, Wargaming, you keep mucking this up. I think the only way we can get around this is to restart the battle and try and pump it forward. We might get vehicles with no tracks moving though, that's the problem. Yeah, we've got the engines. I'll just speed up the replay a little. Yep, we've got no tracks. You either get no engine noises or you get no tracks. So, yes, Wargaming, you've really mucked this one up. I've even tried copying some of the clients, and they won't copy for some reason. They just won't copy down to other files. I need to obviously keep a copy of each client so I can do the replays. So, yes, that's not so good, Wargaming. Okay, well, BassmanFromHell's ready to fire. I think he's selected the screen so you can actually see. Oh, he nearly caught that that enemy there. That is it. Just he's actually got a different name. That was an EBR 105, Jacular 72. For some reason, he's not showing the type of vehicle. It's just showing the name. Okay, so he's relocating for his next shot. Got plenty of time to do that in one of these T92s. Okay, he's lining up a shot on the EBR again. Yeah, it looks like Wargaming's made quite a few changes. Rounds out on the FV. Well, it went long, just missed the turret, and knocking that tree over will actually make the enemy think that he's still there. So he's actually decoying the enemy by moving backwards into this bush instead. Okay, EBR's moved away. Yes, looks like Wargaming's made quite a few errors in their game. The new client that came out, which is the 1.17.1.3. Yeah, that EBR doesn't want to stay in the bush anymore. He realizes it's way too dangerous, and of course he was still spotted. There's a number of enemy tanks right up on top of the hill. Bassman's ignoring them for the moment. He's going to fire into that bush again just in case that EBR is still there. Okay, well, aiming up at the hill is gives you an advantage because there's plenty of stun assists to be earned. And the stun assist would actually give you a chance of getting a much better game out of it. Backed up a little. Look at all those targets. But remember, this Arty does have a rather large splash region. Splash radius is 12.4 meters. So if you fire at one tank, you will probably stun another one if he happens to be alongside them. Instead, he's going to go for this one. No, changed his mind. Going over here instead, fires it in. And this is the Super Conqueror, but splashes him for a little bit. Pull up that. No, it's not actually showing. Oh, that's better. We can actually see the type of vehicle now. All it needed was the Alt key to be pressed, and up comes the target. So we know what type of tanks we're actually aiming at rather than the name of the person. Okay, he's got two here, IS-7 and CS-63, and they've been joined by a Super Conqueror. So that's a very good target to aim for between them. There you go. Rounds out. Looks good. Oh, yes. 3 tanks hit with one shot. Loads of stun. He knocks that tree down, but he moves forward to avoid being recipient of a shell. Didn't get any stun assist off that shot. He's gone for the high value explosive, the alternate high explosive, the one without stun. It's got 1,420 alpha, but there's no stun at all, so no stun assist off this if he does get the shots, but he might do a lot of damage. Going for the cram bomb, rounds out, cram bomb dodges it. Yes, the enemy tanks have been really badly mauled up here. Looking to hit the Super Conch. It's still got plenty of hit points. It's loading another premium HE or alternate HE. Okay, he's loaded. Supercon keeps pulling away. Oh, that's better. He's moving forward. Nope, backs up. He's a very unhappy bunny, that one. Well, it went long, and that might actually work in Bassman's favour, because it seemed that the enemy tank was undecided about where he wanted to be and kept pulling back. Still a few enemy tanks up there. It's loading another premium HE. Okay, Crabbarn's back in sight. Now, can you get a pen and take this guy out? Rounds out. Nope. Went short. That's why I prefer the standard HE, because at least you get some stun out of it even if you don't kill them. We're one down on the enemy at the moment, so they're having a fairly good game. And we're down on hit points as well, but I think this can be turned around. Well, we're doing a bit of forestry work now to try and fool the enemy RT into where we are. The enemy RT's a GWE100. Okay, that IS-7 is making himself a perfect target for us because, yeah, oh, well, he's gone. The 268 got him in the end. They're still doing a bit of lumber work. We're now looking at a Leopard 1 who's come up to that tree, trying to spot our guys. Almost fully dialed in. And we can see where he is because there's actually fences being knocked down. Oh, the shell went long and it hit the Leopard right on him. Direct hit, no explosion. That was a really good one, a lucky one. RNG worked in Bassman's favour there. It looks like he's knocking trees down in a line so he can move in between those trees and fool the enemy Arty as to where he actually is. Okay, almost loaded, and we're ready to go. And Bassman seems to be distracted at the moment because he's not aiming at anyone. Oh, maybe somebody else came into the room. Bassman is a family man. Sometimes, yeah, children can come in at the worst moment, and you're looking at something else and trying to deal with someone. Yeah, he's not moving at all. He's not aiming. Something is distracting Bassman at this moment, definitely. Okay, well, he's gone back to the Leopard, and look at that, he's missing half his hit points. So I suspect the Bassman's hit was actually quite a good one. Rounds out. Direct hit again, and 660, which is it is a non-penetrating shot, but it's a high roll at that. The alpha on this Arty is 1100, so if you get a penetrating shot, you would expect to get around about that sort of area. But half roll for a non-pen, 550. So to get 660, he got a high roll on a non-pen. Of course, he was firing the premium HE, which is actually 1420. Alpha. Again, it looks like he's being distracted because he's not aiming or looking. I know if you look at the mini-map, there's nothing to look at the moment. There's nothing of the enemy team is in sight. And we're almost at 5 minutes to go. I tend to try and pre-aim where I expect the enemy tanks to come from. So I'd be looking at the hill and expecting one of the enemy tanks like Cranbarn, the Leopard 1 or the Super Conqueror to try and come down from the hill. The good thing, if you pre-aim at the enemy, then you've got a fairly good chance of getting them the moment they get spotted. But what we can see on the battlefield is that we've got a Progetto 65 and an Object 780 have actually made their way right the way up to the west side of the map, or the other side of the field, and they're now starting to move in on the enemy cap area. Now Bassman might want to have a look in that area, and that's exactly what he's doing, yes. So he was thinking exactly the same as I was, and just as he does that, the T110E3 pops up on the other side of the lake and properly gets wiped out by our M5Y. Up on top of the hill, Supercon comes into sight again. Rams out. This should hurt him. Oh, RNG said no, and the shell went long again. Now, Bassman's only got 5 shells left. 2 of those are armor-piercing ones. Even so, those armor-piercing 24cm shells will only do 750 alpha. They should do a lot more damage than 750. Oh, that super conk is now a one-shot. He's gone. Object 268's finished him off. We got the leopard. Rounds out. Well, landed in front of him for 419. Now, this is not the same leopard that we fired at before. The enemy does have more than one. Yes, they did. This one's been kind of reticent for most of the game. He's been hanging back. Might be a little inexperienced. Bassman's used the T key on him, or at least somebody has. Yes, it is the Bassman. He's told his teammates that's what I'm going for. He's going to fire an armor piercing at him. And he's lost sight of the cram farm, so I go for the leopard again. He didn't have it fully dialed in, but oh my god, he killed him! A blind shot, penetrating round on the leopard 1, took him out of the game. It would have gone straight through his armor. The armor on the leopard 1, at the most, I think it's something like 50 millimeters, and this thing will go through 372 millimeters. So the shell only needed to touch anywhere on the hull, and it would go straight through. Even, I think, through the tracks it would go straight through. CS63, he's loading another armor-piercing round, and there's only 2 enemies left. One of them's a Gorilla 15, the other's a GWE100. He might want to swap these rounds, and he is doing that. He's swapping it for the HE straight away. He's realised that, yes, he'd be much better off with HE on these 2 very lightly skinned vehicles. There's the GWE100. He's out the game very quickly, and that means the Gorilla is the last one. And, oh, he must be in that wood. Yes, he must be in that wood, because he just finished off our Leopard 1. There he is. Rounds out. Long flight time, but it's going to do a lot of damage. 343, 2 critical hits. He fired his 15cm gun again, but he's been trapped by the 780. And we're not going to get another shot at this guy because he's going to go down. And the kill shot comes in from the Hesh barn. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game from the Bassman from Hell in the T92 HMC. Yes, he was surprised as we were, but you'll understand why when I explain the end of battle results. He also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 14. He got a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points for his own vehicle, and a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And in fact, the fact that he only hit one kill out of that game was actually helpful to him getting that Confederate. His win rate from that battle was 4,131, which is Super Unicum standard, but not quite as high as Sunshine Billy's. But you'll understand again why he managed to get the ace, even though he got a lesser win 8. I think the most important thing to look at here on this page is the fact that that Leopard 1 that he blind hit that was hiding around the bushes just above the lake, he managed to get 1,272 hit points of damage off that one blind shot, which was RNG in his favor. The one that he hit with the armor piercing round, he actually did 829 hit points of damage off that guy. And combine those two together, both leopards, he managed to get 2,000 hit points of damage overall. So yeah, I think you can understand why this was such a good battle for him, mainly because most of the damage was actually done to those 2 leopards. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, the highest damage and the highest damage in the game was actually done by the Cranvarn on the enemy team with 4,454 hit points. The second highest damage was done by Bassman with 4,256, and the third was the Leopard 1 on his own team, who also managed to pick up a Confederate at 4,236 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, it was the Heshman who did the best with 4 kills. 3 kills went to the M5Y, and 2 kills went to the Object 268 and the Progetto 65 on his own team, and 3 members of the enemy team, the Crampon, the CS63 and the Gorilla 15 all managed 2 kills apiece. Bassman only got the 1 kill, but remember that actually helped him to get the Confederate. And the reason why is the Leopard. Yes, if we look at his stats, we can see he hit 9 and 1. And yeah, that happens to be exactly identical to Bassman. So if Bassman hadn't got as many hits, then he would have ended up without getting that Confederate. Anyway, let's get back to the differences, and we can see that on XP, it was the Bassman who got the highest with 956. 952 went to the M5Y, and the Object 430U managed 942. Bassman only fired 14 rounds in this game, mostly because there were some periods where he couldn't see the enemy, so there was nothing for him to shoot at. 3 direct hits on the enemy and 1 penetration, that was the Leopard. 12 splashes as well, 4,256 hit points, all of it done at more than 300 meters. 9 and 1, there's the same difference with the Leopard, so if he'd actually got 1 less or hit 1 more kill, then he would have missed out on that Confederate. 1,637 hit points of stun assist off 8 stuns, and that's where he's better off than Sunshine Billy, and the reason why he's got the ace tanker out of this one. 70,125 credits from the game, 65,000 for completing a mission, 135,125 altogether, and after ammunition resupply, took away a profit of 97,165 credits. He got 1,434 XP, but he played this tank before, so there was no win bonus at all, so that's all the experience points he took away. So yes, it was all down to those Leopards in the end. Selecting the Leopards to shoot at actually gave him a much better chance of picking up some nice hit points. Even if he hadn't penetrated them, even if the shells of that actually landed right next door to them, the Leopards would have suffered. But I think it was that armor-piercing round which helped, as well as that penetrating shot, because I think that penetrating shot actually earned him, those two together, the ace tanker, because of the combination of that and the stun assist. He really did earn it. And so I think he was very surprised in the end that he did get it, but he said the wrong shell loadout. Yeah, he actually loaded, I think, a few more premium rounds than he actually wanted in that game. But surprising that he got that arm-piercing shot on the Leopard right up on the hill, but very satisfying when you do get it off a blind shot as well. Of course, he just didn't know that he'd earned 800 hit points from that one shot. Yes, a nice surprise at the end of the battle to realise he'd done so well. I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And of course, we will be producing more videos. This is 8001. 8002 is already lined up and ready to go. And I will be pumping out plenty of these videos over the next couple of days. Now we've got the computer set up. I've still got tinkering around with it because I've still got a few problems I've got to work out. But hopefully I'll be back to mass manufacturing these videos. And of course, do remember to tell everyone that all the revenue from What Arty Noobs channel at the moment is going to the Red Cross Ukraine appeal to help the refugees. So watch as many of our videos as you can, because it all generates revenue which helps the refugees. And we want to help those refugees coming out of the war, and of course for Ukraine to win the war and kick all the orcs out of their country. Thanks for watching.